Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
So, you are my OG favorite ASMR artist. And when I discovered your channel, it was this invitation into an audiobook with someone who was so vulnerable and so lovable and so just sweet. And this character who kind of invited us into her life in these ways that were um, granular and prosaic and about what was in your makeup bag and, what you happen to be enjoying that month, but also deep struggles that were going on in your life. But I always had this thought about it, which is this okay? I, she's 17. Like, so how old were you when you started your
I
videos?
think I was that age.
17, yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you find out what ASMR was and who were you, what made you want to start doing it?
I was a junior in high school who was struggling with an eating disorder. I was just so burnt out because I was like chasing after trying to get into college and I couldn't sleep. I just had really bad insomnia. And it wasn't called ASMR back then, it was called the whispering community. And it was just like black screens of people whispering and eating pizza. I don't know. And I found it because I used to listen to makeup people who did makeup, like Michelle Phan. I still think she has such a relaxing voice. And I just needed something to shut off my thoughts. And that's how I found it. It was a struggle and it was a creative outlet for me. When I started really making videos, I think I was very depressed.
I have seen all of your videos. I listened to them over the course of about 5 years before I started listening to other people. I listened to yours exclusively. It was like returning to a book that I loved over and over again. And it must be an extremely creepy thing to say from someone you've never met in real life. But I think, I think, um, I don't know. I think I'm getting swept up in my own emotion of really chatting with you and kind of having always wondered, like, your most popular videos are your role plays.
Mm.
Um, but I think, and also I think your Korean videos are most popular. I will say I never watched those because they weren't triggers for me and I couldn't understand you. But there were certain videos where yes, you shared about disordered eating and you shared about spirituality and you shared about your family, or you would kind of drop these little hints about like if a relationship of yours wasn't going well, or like if college was a struggle. And I wonder if now as an adult, and I say adult because what I really mean is like also I think a couple of years out of, do you mind my asking how old you are now?
I'm 27.
27. Okay, so this was really 10 years ago that you started this.
Yeah.
I guess I wonder if you, like, you're kind of evidence of like, are kids going to regret putting so much on the internet? And I guess I wonder what the answer to that question is. And if there are things you wish you hadn't said or that feel like, I don't know, TMI to you now as an adult, or how you hold that stuff.
That's such a good question. I feel really strongly about this now as an adult because I think as someone, like I hate even saying this, creates content, there is a responsibility on the content that you create and the content that you consume. But I didn't really realize that back then. So I don't hold it against kids at all. I think you're curious, you're fearless. I think it's beautiful that time. Now I'm like nitpicking everything and like trying to filter myself, and there's this purity about that young age that you just can't get as much when you get older. I think I don't really regret anything, but that might be because I just don't remember the stuff that I said as much.
Why do you think you were so successful? And take off the hat of being overly humble. Like, could you really make a pitch for the value of Nicole? Why do you think? Because you have hundreds of thousands of followers, but you were never one of these creators who, I mean, also because you were one of the first, I mean, what do I know? But I think you were a very early creator. And so you don't have, like a huge production budget. You know what I mean? You were just you. What do you think about your videos got you so many subscribers?
I will say, when regarding my comment before, I don't judge people for doing that. I'm totally fine with it. I think the reason for I just worry about the younger girls. Like, if you're an adult, I mean, adult is subjective anyway.
I think the reason that I was curious is because those people might be physically revealing, but you were very emotionally revealing.
It's very true.
I wonder now if you feel, I mean, you say you haven't watched it, but I'm going to give an example. There's one video that you made once where I remember you had just, I had known that you were struggling with disordered eating, and you just come from some sort of like a Thanksgiving lunch at your church or something. And you told us everything that you had eaten. And I wondered if this was your way of, if it was a confession, if it was kind of verbal purging, if it was an asking for acceptance, if it was like a pride that you'd been able to eat that and not feel so shameful about it, if it was like a demand to enjoy it, like what was that experience like for you? I'm sure you don't remember, but
I don't, but I'm gonna say I probably think it was a confession and the almost an acceptance, wanting acceptance, because I couldn't accept it. I'm pretty sure I was at a place where I was listing it and being like, I can't believe I ate all of that. That's insane. I do think you're right about the emotional revealing part. I was so vulnerable. I just didn't have a filter, and I'm still working on that. But I got lucky. I just started. I was I think, to my knowledge, the first one who did Korean ASMR. I just got lucky on the train. So it was pure luck, and it's not me being humble. I do think, like you said, the aspect of being vulnerable helped. I think it's very, very strange to find an Asian girl who speaks English to being vulnerable about what she's going through, because it's just not accepted or even asked for in the Asian culture. It's like too much.
do you remember in your video creation where you went from feeling like, oh, I'm a high school kid making some videos that not that many people are watching, to, oh my God, I have a lot of subscribers? Was there a tipping point for you?
I think because I never wanted to really do this as a career. It was always a creative outlet and a hobby for me, and I genuinely am so grateful for those who have subscribed to me. I feel like I have a relationship with them, a distant one, but still one. I still don't really understand numbers, and I think the fact that there are now like people with 4 million, 16 million, it still hasn't hit me. I would say the only tipping point that I've had with my channel has been understanding that I need to filter myself a little more. That's the only change that I think I felt during my channel.
Mm. Was there an experience that made you feel like I need more of a boundary than I have?
Yeah, I think when I realized I have poor boundaries, and also just like people that I would know would talk about my channel first, and that's when I was like, huh. And when it happened frequently, maybe I need to filter what I say, because even if I mean it lightheartedly, who knows who it's gonna go back to. Not really, like for myself, I was at a point where I was just like, F you all, like I'm gonna live my life. I don't care what you think about me, honestly. But now I really do care what people think about me. And back then it was more so to protect, I think, the people around me.
Well, I think, I mean, you say that you didn't have a filter, but you don't give yourself at 17 much credit, because I remember in the beginning, I was just looking over your channel today to kind of refamiliarize myself with it. I had to stop. You stopped making videos, so I had to move on. But I the your initial videos, I mean, forever you didn't show your face, you didn't use your name, you really were pretty diligent about protecting your privacy. You never said where you lived or where you were going to school or anything like that. You really took care of yourself. And I wonder if you give yourself credit for actually how boundaried you were, and how that allowed you to be so generous with your soul.
I did not think about it like that, but I appreciate you pointing that out. I think that was probably a part of it too, just being afraid. I mean, like we've talked about this with your portion, just I think the eating disorder, the fear of being judged and not accepted, and the desire to be so fully known and accepted. And at least when I first came to Korea, I just felt associated acceptance with how I looked. So I think my channel was a place where I could at least be truly vulnerable. And it felt great that people just accepted and enjoyed my thoughts. I was like, what? They like it. So I feel very blessed to have gotten to just that 137K. It's a blessing. It's a gift.
How do you if you could go back and change your handle name, would you? Or would you always keep it Pigsbum?
I don't know what I would change it to, so I've never thought about it. I think I would just keep it.
Gosh, I can't remember what you said, something about a boundary, but you had mentioned in one of your videos that when you went to school, someone recognized you in the dining hall, that like there was this I can't believe how well I know your content. There were these moments of like, oh, I'm not just doing this alone in my bedroom, but I think it probably is that quality about your content where because you're not pleasing, you're not pushing, because it is really just your journal. You're not it's not forced, it's not phony, it's so authentic. So now that you're 27 and you have an entire channel of content that you created when you were ages 17 to 22, does it ever come up in your life? Has anything come back to haunt you? Do you have any regrets, not necessarily about things that you shared, but like, has it ever come up for you professionally? Like, how many people in your life know that you have a now somewhat retired YouTube channel?
It comes out more frequently than I'm used to. And I don't know why, but it does. Because I genuinely think there are so many people who are influencers or YouTubers now. I don't see it as a big thing. For me, I really want to, I'm trying to get my LMFT, which is like licensed in marriage family therapy. But that's like a big fear of mine. I'm like so scared I have to shut it down in the future. I don't think I'll have to, but just things like this. And when I was applying to jobs, like it can either be depending on what field you're in, and that's why I was so curious with you and your career. Like people will either think it's an asset or a liability.
You can get away with a lot when you're an actor. People pretty much expect you to like be a freak show. I think it would be great to know about the status of your recovery now. And I don't mean status, but I mean without feeling like you need to be cured, can you
Mm.
talk about the, can you give a couple of, I don't know, formative experiences that really helped you to get healthier? Or would you be willing to share any ways in which you think you still struggle?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm the same page no matter how interventions are great. Like, I'm so grateful for all the doctors, all the treatment, all the therapists that I've met. They were like a band-aid that I continued to rip off and put back on. Like, you need to change your band-aid. But I distinctively remember a significant moment where my eating disorder is such a headspace. Like, it's a perspective and approach in life. And I still struggle, but I have peace in it. Like, I won't get into all of it because it's like a part of my testimony. It'll get so long. But I really got close to God and my faith through that. And I know I just felt like a miracle happened. Like, my behaviors just went away after this, like the lowest I've ever hit. And in 2 weeks. And it wasn't just behaviors, it was the headspace. But I still had relapses, and I hate that word, but I get that it's necessary. But I'm like, dude, if you're in recovery, you're still in recovery. Like, summer, it's still summer, but sometimes there are just downpours, and sometimes it's for an hour, sometimes it's for a day, sometimes it's for a whole week. But it doesn't take away that the season is still summer.
Absolutely. I don't even call it relapse. I call it falling forward. I just don't think anything in life happens in reverse. I think
Yes.
everything is like, oh, what part of my, where's the hole in the bucket? What is the lie that I'm believing is real? Where is my self-esteem lower than it ought to be? Where am I holding on to some sort of obsessive compulsive behavior because what I'm looking for is a deeper fulfillment that is farther beyond my reach as an artist. And so I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll count calories. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Whenever behaviors come back, it means a need of mine is not getting met. But that realization, I really felt like God was talking to me through seasons during that time of my life. And that comforts. It still sucks when you slip up and you've been in. It's a mindset. It's like getting to enjoy free pizza and actually being excited that it's free. And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have to spend money. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not the mindset of there's free pizza, like I need to avoid it, or people are gonna think I'm weird, or the mindset of, okay, how can I sneak all of this in and like use it later to use as like binge food?
Oh, that was way more me. I was like, I don't even want this, but it's free. So I'm going to eat all of it.
Yeah, exactly. But there's no guilt in it, you know? I think, and people with eating disorders will probably relate, but just small things. I don't even know, like avoiding social events, whatever it may be. There are weird things that we do and the way that we see it, scenarios or situations. And it's being so completely removed from that thought doesn't even come up. And that is so freeing.
So was there a moment at which I'm toggling a little bit here, but I want to sort of give the viewers like a modern day picture of this woman who, um, you know, I think for a lot of people has meant so much. Is there a reason that you decided to stop for the most part making videos?
Honestly, I think I'm just lazy and
I hate that word. There's no such thing as laziness. There's only the given amount of resistance you face at any particular
it's a very New York, LA, like deep thing to say. So, no, you're right. I've
moment. What you're saying
had.
is bullshit.
I feel like I need to just sometimes label myself in order to get better at certain things, but maybe I think it's just not a priority, unfortunately. I love it, but it's a hobby that it's like if you love kayaking or if you love painting, you do it when something inspires you and you have a lot of free time and energy. And you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those for me.
I think that's so healthy. Okay, I'm just gonna ask you one more question. I think you're in a relationship. We're all very happy about that. If you're happy about it. What does your partner think about the fact that you have a YouTube channel? Has he watched any of your YouTube videos?
He thinks it's awesome. He's very supportive. He thinks it's cool. But it's very interesting because I think we're like the polarity, just we see things differently. And I appreciate that he appreciates it more than I can. Or he values it or thinks it's so cool. Like, I think ASMR is cool and I think my subscribers are very cool. Like, I don't get it. Like, girl, I've been off. On and off. Like, I'm inconsistent. Go find other people. But I'm so grateful. So I think that's cool. But he is a very analytical person. So he finds the numbers and things like that interesting. And I respect it. I'm very grateful for him.
Who are the creators that you're listening to now? Do you still listen to it when you're not making it?
I can't get away. It's too much. I love Peace and Sarai. Peace and Sariety ASMR. She's great for me. I listen to Julia when I'm not trying to fall asleep because I find her so entertaining.
ASMRX babe. You have a joint friend crush on Julia. She's amazing.
I think her essence just anyway, I enjoy her. Lily, of course, I've enjoyed for so many years, but I kind of get hooked on one. I'll watch them for a while and then I jump onto another. And that's just the kind of, another creator that I really like, you might like her. She gives me this pure, very pure vibes. Her name is ASMR Adelaide. Lily once mentioned her. Love her videos. They're very old school.
Does he experience ASMR, your boyfriend?
I don't know. I think he gets relaxed. I don't know if he finds it. If he gets tingles, I should ask him. I'll ask him later.
Spirituality is a big part of your life, so I thought I would ask if you if that's something that you guys see eye to eye on, or if that's something that's private for you.
No, we see eye to eye on it a lot. And I think so much of our relationship was so different in so many ways, but that is such an anchor. Like, I think that's so important. You can be complete opposites, and if you have similar values or just things that you find important, you can negotiate and compromise and learn from each other. So
I have one more question for you. Some of my favorite of your videos were your favorites videos. What you happen to be eating, using, wearing, things that you loved. So can we get a modern day, August 2021? What are some of Pigsbum53's favorite things of the moment?
oh my goodness, you are a great interviewer. You are very good at this. Okay. First of all, I love cough drops. I've been just eating all of them. I mean, they should pay us for this, but whatever. This is called Lipsil. Well, it won't even focus. I love this lip balm. This is from Amazon. I actually really want to invite you to get some. It's so good. It's like Burt's Bees without the strong mintiness. And I feel like sometimes Burt's Bees dries out my lips. This is not heavy. It just moisturizes. I love this. Other than that, I don't know. I feel like I've been so busy. I'm at a state where I can't be like, I'm thriving, I'm taking care of myself. I'm like, I'm busy. I wish I could take care of myself more, but I've been enjoying, honestly, the regression that I had in the pandemic. I've become more introverted, and I actually do really, really like that aspect of myself. So that's a favorite, introverts.
Pigsbum, we love you. We miss you so so, so, so honored you took this time with me. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me 5 years of sleep when I was otherwise in a very difficult place. I couldn't possibly thank you enough.
Oh, thank you, Genevieve, and thank you for answering all my questions with such poise and intelligence, and for being flexible.